Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Oscar, and we're back again with another installation of the chip list. If you guys don't know, the chip list is basically like a weekly, bi-weekly. I'm going to move it towards a weekly. Basically look at the most recent unique or most expensive eBay auctions that ended that week. I know there's quite a bit of eBay auctions that end pretty much every day. I know Sunday is kind of the hot spot, but definitely working on trying to be more, I guess we could say more active and more proactive on this series. But got a bunch of cool things this week. I think we're all going to enjoy these ones. So should be a good one. So first off, we're going to be looking at this really different small crown chip, because I've never seen anything like this. As far as a stamp like this goes, I would have never thought somebody would have wanted something like this. Maybe it was the logo that they had at the time. Maybe it meant something. I'm not sure. It's really interesting because it takes up the whole face area of the chip where it could have been stamped. Obviously used quite a bit of pressure and heat to stamp this one, especially to get through the actual top layer, I guess we could say. And I don't know. It's an interesting looking chip. Very one of a kind, I guess we could say. Never seen anything like this before. I wanted to show it off because it was pretty cool. Next up is a Flamingo, like we say, the first edition Flamingo chips are called Bugsy chips. Usually we see the 5s and an uncanceled 5, but this is a canceled 25. Obviously it's canceled because it has the drill hole seen here, but these 25s aren't seen often. They're pretty rare. I believe there was also a $100 issue of this as well. That's really rare. I think that chip at the 100 itself is probably in the 5 figures. An uncanceled 25 is probably around 6,000 or 7,000, I think. Considering the 5s sell for anywhere between 2,900, and then at that recent Heritage auction, I think one sold for somewhere around $4,000. But still, canceled 25s. Really cool to see this, actually, because you don't see these often. Usually when it comes to chips like this, they're in their forever homes in their collections and they're not moving often. So always nice to see another one in the wild. And yeah, it's a unique chip. It's an old chip from 1946, obviously, when the Flamingo first opened. So there probably weren't that many people that walked out of that place with chips. And who knows what actually happened to all the chips when those chips were obviously switched out. I'm not sure if anybody knows where the chips went, but it's definitely a mystery and something that might be found one day. But until that day, Bugsy Flamingo chips are extremely rare. The next 3 are prototypes, or prototype, I guess, prototype chips for, they're prototype chips. What am I saying? First one is going to be a Sheraton DI 100k baccarat chip. This is something I've never seen before, let alone seen the prototype or the actual chip itself. I've never seen an actual chip. I've never seen the prototype until this one. I was watching this one along with the next 2 just to see how much they went for. Seems like this one had the starting bid at $750. There was one bidder who won it for $750. So pretty interesting price. It's a high price for a prototype, but you don't see 100k prototypes, let alone 100k baccarat prototypes, just any day. So pretty cool to see it. It could be a one-of-a-kind chip. There's probably 1 or 2 of them, but I'd say one-of-a-kind. Definitely cool to see that. Next one is a Hilton 25k baccarat prototype. This one I was also watching. I think a majority of people probably like this one because of the colors and the edge spots, let alone it being a oversized baccarat chip. There is a tiny flea bite here. I think, where was it? I think on the front side of one of these pictures. It's right here. It's really small, but obviously the magnifying glass or whatever zoom was used on this makes it look a little bit more intense. But yeah, definitely a really cool chip. This could be a one-of-a-kind type thing too. I think I remember looking this up in the book, and I think it was something like a Z1 or maybe a Z chip, something like that. But definitely cool. This one, I'm not sure if it's a one of a kind or maybe there's one or two of them. $828. I think this starting bid was, let's see where the starting bid was. Starting bid was 500, so that made it up pretty well. And an awesome looking chip at that. Next one is a Treasure Island Roulette prototype. $1,000 roulette prototype. Obviously it's a prototype because they're just showing off probably how the mold looked, I think, or either that or the inlay. Obviously on roulette chips you're never going to have the actual denomination on the actual chip, so seeing one with the denomination on a roulette mold definitely classifies it as a roulette, or definitely classifies it as a sample prototype. So you're never going to see a roulette chip with an actual denomination on them. Roulette chips only have either letters, let's say A, B, C, D, E, F, or they have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depending on how many tables the casino has, they'll have a certain amount of chips per table. So $300 for this prototype. Obviously, all the prototypes are going to be in mint condition on the edges, basically, unless it's been dropped. But definitely kind of cool to see it. It's kind of bland. It's definitely for someone who only collects prototypes, but definitely pretty cool. Next one is a Mirage 25. Now there was this Mirage 25 along with another one sold probably a few weeks ago. There was one sold for $350 or $360. And then this one sold for $217. I think the other one was in slightly better condition, but who would have ever thought Mirage 25s were going to be selling in the triple digits? Somewhere around 200, 250, 300 plus. I would have never thought a Mirage, first edition Mirage 25 was going to sell for that much. Maybe it's because people are noticing with the beautiful colors on the chip, the edge spot variations, unusual green color. I'm not sure either that, or it's because the Mirage is obviously being it's no longer basically going to be a part of Vegas once the Hard Rock Corporation takes over and fully does everything. So first edition chips are going to be a pretty hot seller, I think, let alone all the Mirage chips. So if you don't have a first edition Mirage chip, I'd probably suggest you get one while you can. I'm not sure as far as the prices, what's going to happen with that, but I do know for the 2500 they're pretty rare to find, so that's why they're going for so much. But definitely might want to put that on your list of chips to get. Next we have, this was an interesting listing. This one I put on my watch list because I saw these 3 Aladdin 5s. If I remember correctly, each one of these was like 300 or 350 a piece at one point, and this listing only sold for 325 or 327. Boom, boom, boom. You basically bought this listing. You got this chip for free, and then you paid for one chip and you got everything else for free. Obviously that isn't the case when 3 of these are shown in the same picture, but who knows what'll happen with the market on the Aladdin 5 now that this listing was obviously sold. Definitely drops the value a little bit, but then again, it's another game of supply and demand. As long as there aren't more Aladdin 5s put onto the market, then the value shouldn't go down. Obviously, like I said, it'll go down just a hair because this listing, but if the market isn't flooded, the market will stay relatively the same. I think these Aladdins were they like $50 a piece because they're on the Borland mold, or the Nevada mold, I guess I could say. And then these are like $20 to $30 chips, these 5s, uncanceled. So pretty cool to see 3 of these older Aladdin 5s, though. You don't see 3 of them together often, let alone 1. So pretty cool to see that. I think I talked about this El Cortez or a similar El Cortez in my last video. I think it was actually another one. This is the other one. I think the other one had the shaped coin inlay, or the I guess the brass inlay. This one has the circular one. Obviously a prototype. It's on the Paulson, I guess we could say, home line colors, Casino de Isthmus hundreds, and all a bunch of other $100 home line chips were made out of these colors. This sold for $876, 878 bucks. I think this is like a Z1 in the book. So definitely, you know, obviously it's either an El Cortez, as a person who really likes the El Cortez, or a prototype collector bought this one. And it is definitely a rare chip. I've never seen one of these in person. It'd be probably cool to see one, but it probably wouldn't do it for me because it's not what I collect. But like I said, it's always cool to see these prototypes. You don't see them every day, and those people that buy them, then they're in their forever homes probably. This one blew me away. Bourbon Street 25 sells for 51 bucks. If I remember correctly, this chip used to be like 12 or 14 bucks, like two years ago. That's probably obviously before everyone started building Bourbon Street sets, trying to find 5s and 100s primarily. The 25s I've never really seen in quantity, so let alone trying to find them in singles nowadays. You don't see them too often, and Bourbon Street 5s are selling for like 20 or 25 bucks a piece. This one sold for 51 and it's a 25. It blows me away what happened to chips, especially like Bourbon Street and all these beautiful colors. Everything just freaking skyrocketed in the last 2 years, and I don't know, it's awesome. I like it. It definitely makes the hobby more fun and a little bit more competitive, I think. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Another cool old chip, Golden Nugget 5. On the GN, obviously TRK made this mold, but this is a rare chip. This one sold for 900. You don't see chips like this every day. Definitely one of a more rare chip. I don't know what the book rating is on it. I don't know what the last one sold for either, but it's definitely a chip you don't see often. So definitely whoever picked this up for 900, it's probably worth it. Yeah, it doesn't do much to me. It's a rare chip, but it doesn't do much to me. And then for all the people who love quantity chips, like I mentioned, these are Paulson Homeline chips. These are Pyramid Casino chips that were sold as a fantasy set that you could have bought from Paulson. 3 barrels sold for $420. If we go ahead and do the math on that, $7 a piece. They look like they're in mint condition, which they are. So whoever picked them up, probably adding to a set, or either that, or they might relabel them. Who knows? I think they're adding them to a set, but pretty cool to see that though. So that's gonna wrap this one up. I don't want to keep talking too long because I could obviously talk about this all day long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick little video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this new installment of the chip list. If there's anything you saw, or anything I mentioned, or anything I missed, please put what, you know, if it was something cool that you saw, put it down in the comments. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed the video at any time, please drop a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.